Okay, so today, peoples, I would like to talk about Cudoocadian values. Are they mostly conservative or liberal? Well, actually, that is not. It's really a mix. It's not really lean. I mean, I guess you could say it's leaning. It leans more left, but it's very moderate. But it does lean more left. It'll be more like a social democracy. Like social democracy, just not far to the left, but there's still some balance of there's still importance of some conservative values that adds to uh that can make each other effective, like with the liberalism and as well as the conservative values. A lot of people look at those as conflicting, but it's not necessarily conflicting. But it's more so, well, Americans see it as conflicting. U.S. Americans see it as conflicting. I'm pretty sure a lot of others elsewhere see it conflicting, where liberalism conflicts with conservatism. That's because there's a lot of extreme views that mainly conflict with each other, but there's actually could be very moderation. Partially as a Cudoocadian, a lot of starting off as a Cudoocadian would most likely want to come off. You want to start off in a centered position, but you're always going to lean more libertarian in the sense, okay, because this is more about Cudoocadian values is all about down with self sufficiency. It's all about self-regulation, self-sufficiency. It's anarchy. It's anarchy in the form of social order. You know what I'm saying? In the form of social order anarchy. So the people are highly empowered to do things themselves, highly encouraged and empowered to do things themselves. This is the goal of Cudoocadian values, to encourage people to self-regulate, do things on themselves, and make them aware of the how to do these things, and so that way they can obtain the ability to do these things. So, and that's where the mutualism comes into play, people sharing information with each other, so that way nobody has to be completely dependent on one another, and nobody has to be completely alone when trying to survive for them. Trying to survive. Not even just survive, just trying to live and maintain their living. You know what I'm saying? So, which still falls into survival, but still. There's a lot of things what can I say? Cudoocadian values would really prioritize a traditional economy with a market system, but free market system. An anarchy free market system where it's just it's not really for capital gains, more like it's for mutualistic gains, which this is coming from the mutualist standpoint of a free market system, so of a free market anarchy basically. So mutualism basically is highly voluntary. You get together with somebody that you start a little service that can really help the community for the time being, but at the end game is when the community becomes independent, they don't really need this company to provide that particular service anymore. The company can either cease to exist, or you can change your business format. You can change your place of business. So, all right, what's the next thing can we do to help out? And this is how a company can stay afloat in a mutualistic economy, where, all right, we're going to shift the public doesn't need us to do this anymore. What can we do next? And this would, not only that, it will encourage economic progression instead of stagnation. All right, companies need to move on and do something else. If they want to stay in business and provide service and, help us, all that. So it's companies. So this will encourage economic, progression, moving on to the next thing. What can we do differently, or what can we upgrade? You know what I'm saying? All that. And that's simply just one way of free markets being mutualistic in Cudoocadian ways, and completely voluntary on people's parts who get together and want to do those things. So It's a lot to explain here. I will write it all down in like a book format, so that way all that can be in a book, which will be accessible on a website that I'm going to make called the Free Cudoocadian Library. So yeah, I'm going to make a website. I'm studying web design, so I'll be done. But yeah, it's to teach all that stuff about the free market system. But like free market systems is more like classical liberalism, and which is like a mix of conservatives, which seen as conservative today, but it wasn't seen as conservative at the time when it was being brought up. That's why it's like a classical liberalism. Like it's conservative, but it's not that conservative. It still has like liberal standpoints. So like, standpoints, but at the same time, another little word. Sometimes Cudoocadianism falls into the conservative branches when it comes to like I said, the traditional economy, but figuring out how to push it in a way where, well, it's like a traditional economy with a modern sense. You know what I'm saying? With a modern touch. Basically, technology helping us out individually to help us better, farm. Like, say, if you want to manage like a little micro farm for you and your family, you could have like a robotic system where robots can like constantly run and water your stuff. Not AI robots, but AI wouldn't be classified as robot, but not AI, just regular machinery or robotic equipment like drones that can fly over the fields and just water them on a routine occasion, all stuff like that. Simply like 3D printers at home, so that way you can produce your own stuff, screws, shoes, machinery that can produce your own clothing, simply just stuff like that. All production basically from Cudoocadianism will most likely be done in the home. All production. And then business, like I said, the goal is to make it where people don't have to keep relying on like a market system. It's just bring all this home so people don't have to keep working so hard all their lives, which is one of the things that capitalism breeds. Hard, where people constantly are working hard just to stay afloat, and it gets in all this stress, and then people get competitive or selfish or whatever reasons. We're all Cudoocadian values on this matter is we are all in this on the same boat. So we all kind of want to be comfortable, at least. We would expect that most people would prefer a comfortable way of living rather than a stressful way of living where you're constantly working and you're not really reaching a point where, all right, you're better off, You're better off. Well, if you gotta either join the big guys, do all this extra effort to join the big guys, and that's the thing. Capitalism requires you to just keep contributing more and more effort to play catch up, then get yourself to a stage where you're stable, and it's a lot of unnecessary stress that we're creating for ourselves when it comes to that. And this is what simply a mutualistic economy can counter. It's just, all right, we're building each other up, getting us to the same levels as each other, so that way we can see how farther we can go. You know what I'm saying? This is like, most people see that as equality, yeah, but it's more like, all right, this person has a little bit more knowledge than this person, so this person will contribute some of their knowledge to bring this person up to the same level of knowledge as they have. You know what I'm saying? Then there's what's above them is the knowledge that they haven't reached yet, and they can work together to now both reach the new set of knowledge that needs to be reached, while also helping other people get up to their level to progressing and reach the same knowledge. Cudoocadianism and Cudoocadianism. That's not a thing. No, just don't make it a thing. Cudoocadian values. And Cudoocadian values is highly focused on it. We want intellectual more so an intellectual populace, where we use our brains more to better our living standards and situations, mainly living situations for all of ourselves. And that's how we plan to go about things. So this is where we believe in free knowledge. Knowledge should be spread freely. So that might be a little liberal in a sense, where knowledge should be free and spread it. And it's like part of like an amendment, and it should be part of the amendment for Cudoocadian values. Cudoocadian values amendment, where knowledge is should be free and spread it all around. You know what I'm saying? Even if the knowledge may not be, not quite there yet. Like, there's things we should be knowledgeable of and aware of, which, a lot of our knowledge comes from actual real world things, and then idealism, which is not very factual. Sorry to say, but idealism is not very, more so in a sense factual. It's more so in a sense just it's idealistic. It's something we're coming up with. It's not real. We're just making it up. So, and that's how it's pretty much viewed. So it's a mix. Our knowledge is a mix of pragmatism as well as idealism. What's real and what we're coming up with based on what's real. You know what I'm saying? So that is what knowledge is mixed with. So in idealism, we can get some type of false information spread it, with idealism and all that. But at the same time, we should sift. The goal is to learn how to sift through false information to find the true facts within what's being spread, because no lie or no false thing can be spread well without a little bit of truth in it. Like, I don't know, I heard from somewhere where the best lies that are spread are lies that contain some bit of truth, because it has to be somewhat believable in order for people to be like, okay, to start, believing in it. It has to be somewhat believable. So you need some real things in there to encourage people to get on board with that ideal. That ideal that, Earth is flat, or, say like Earth is flat, it looks flat, we keep walking and it looks like it never ends, some stuff like that. Basic stuff like that, or you get up to a certain point, Earth still looks flat, blah, 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 whatever, and they got other ways they perfect it. Like, you need some sort of believable thing. So, like, you need some real world basis or something to base it off of that's considered truth in order to get people to believe it. You need some sort of truth in your lie to get people to believe it, or in your false information to get people to believe it. So even the person themselves has to believe it, because any lacking in belief yourself, it's just you're doing your ideal no justice there, because you're not spreading it well. So now you might get into you might get the impression that Cudoocadian ideas kind of surround a little bit of nihilism in a sense, because how nihilism, when it comes to Cudoocadianism, nihilism is not seen as a threat, it is seen as the great humbler. Okay? Nihilism is seen as the great humbler. The fact that we make up things and the universe is somewhat indifferent to our existence is really not indifferent. It's just the universe doesn't necessarily prioritize our existence, nor does it not prioritize our existence. So, like, where pessimists think, okay, the universe is just extremely against us, we're suffering, we're born to suffer, blah blah blah. That's more like a nihilistic version. That's really like nihilism is like a neutral standpoint. It's like there's nothing here. Like, it's neutral standpoint, like nothing. This is nothing. We can go towards something, what I'm saying, but at the end, nothing. You know what I'm saying? We start with nothing. Then we do something. You know what I'm saying? So it might be hard to say, but like nihilism in Cudoocadian view is the great humbler, and is well respected within Cudoocadian values. The philosophy, oh shit, ooh dear, that could be bad. Okay, is well respected within Cudoocadian values, as well as, well, that's it. It's just well respected and seen as the great humbler. That's pretty much it. It's not much more to it when it comes to that. When it comes to nihilism. So where people will see nihilism as a threat, Cudoocadian values sees nihilism as a great humbler and a way of, understanding certain things about how stuff works. So, how stuff works. It's just a great humbler. A great humbler. Assuming your existence is not more important than the other person's existence, and understanding that, you know what I'm saying? Like, most people get this, are important, there's some people more important than other people. No. In Cudoocadian values, we see everybody as pretty much the same. You're just people. Yes, you're capable of doing multiple different things. Maybe you may perform it a little bit more better than other people. We will acknowledge that. But we do not see that as worthy of placing you above anybody. Because that's not what we're doing here. We're not trying to prioritize anybody as above anybody, and this is where we get hierarchy from, trying to prioritizing someone as greater, better than other people, so we put them on a pedestal and look up to them for guidance and whatever. No, that's not the way to do that. That's not how we do it in Cudoocadian values. No. So everybody's on the same level. We view everybody on the same level. Well, you have a knowledge that this person hasn't attained. You have skill sets that you've improved in that this person hasn't attained, and this person who's coming to you would like to have those same skill sets. That's you can provide that with them or not. It's up to you. It's voluntary associated. They'll go to somebody else who probably has the same skill set, or maybe someone who you are willing to let in to teach will eventually go on to teach other people, and it should be okay with this. And that's the goal, to be okay with this. On top of that, so it's like, I really explained the full difference on how it is leaning conservatism and liberalism in this matter, but it's more so like, okay, we understand the value of family, but at the same time, we don't believe necessarily a family has to be man and woman. We believe there should be two parents, because a child does need differing views rather than one-sided views from one parent. You need some differing views, and yeah, that's and we want to see the value, we want to perpetuate the value of family. Perpetuate the value of family in the narrative, and we don't see women as fragile. We see women as like men, human beings capable of doing things. Women are not viewed as fragile in Cudoocadian values or anything less than a man. We don't do that. It's not viewed like that. A woman, we like in Cudoocadian values. Yes, we will let a man compete with a woman. We don't. The man doesn't even need to dress up as a woman. You can just be a man. You can compete against a woman, and because we want the woman can compete against the man. Now, and we don't believe it should just be a few men just versus women entirely. No, that's not what we want to perpetuate. Men and women should be on the same team, working together to achieve the goal. You know what I'm saying? So, men and women competing against men and women in sports. You know what I'm saying? Not just man competing against women. No, that's not what that's doing. So yes, we would let yes, we don't see them as like less than. So we view women as the same as men. You're human beings. You can do things the same as a man. It's acknowledged. This is not something that's necessarily needs to be portrayed or pushed. This is just common knowledge. We see women are capable of doing these things. Let them do it. They get beat up. Oh well, men get beat up when we're doing sports too. Heal, get back out there. You know what I'm saying? That's all he can do, and that's how it is. And as well as we don't consider LGBT as separate people, but we understand LGBT important rights. People, we don't care about same-sex marriage. Marriage is marriage. Even though we understand what marriage is for, what was the history of marriage. That's the large thing in Cudoocadian values. You want to be knowledgeable about past stuff as well as the stuff in the day, about why we did certain things in the past to now, which helps, better understand how we live in the future today and how we go about certain things. So there's a lot more to discuss. I'm on my 20-minute mark. All right, but I tried to cover most of the differences. It's a whole lot. Just stay tuned for a book when I write the book. All right, signing out.